How you doing, folks? This is Rex at the Buckeyenest again, and as I've told you in the past, this is an ongoing thing here. I'm out here at the Dayton VA today, and I got a gentleman by the name of James Woody. Did I get that right?
That is correct.
He's part of the Honor Squad, and I'm going to do a quick interview here with him. And the first thing I'm going to do is, James, how did you hear about the Honor Squad program?
It was through Channel 7 News that I saw that the Honor Guard was being started, and I was out here volunteering to set some flags up for Memorial Day. And a gentleman from Buckeyenest, 100% disabled vet, encouraged me to come on down and meet Mr. Henshaw and join the Honor Squad, and I've been doing it since. And it's a real honor, and it's a very good organization.
What branch did you serve in, James?
I was in the U.S. Army, regular Army, from 79 till 1982, the 3rd U.S. Infantry. I was an infantry scout. Then I was recruited for the Army Reserve here in Dayton at the old Desi complex, an 8-inch self-propelled howitzer unit. I was a cannoneer. And then I was fully discharged in 1985 with my second honorable discharge.
So that sounds like about 6 years of service you gave.
Well, 4 actual, then the other was, I went back to inactive service.
Yeah, okay. So, what's the best thing about the team that you've seen so far? I know that veterans' families really respect what you guys do, but is there something that you recall seeing that was kind of like above and beyond?
Oh, it's the camaraderie, the other members, you know, we're mostly all veterans. And it's a little bit of sense of duty. And I was retired. I'd been a truck driver, and I'd been injured in a loading accident. And I received my VA comp, and I'd like to kind of give back, participate again.
Yeah. I understand that you don't have to be a veteran to be part of this team.
No, you do not. You just have to want to come out and participate. You'll be properly trained, and we respect and encourage others to come out and join our squad.
Okay. I know when this organization cranked up, this program cranked up out here, they were looking for about 50 volunteers so they could set up rifle teams for every day of the week.
That is correct.
And the last time I was out here, they had about 35 members. And has that number changed in any way, shape, or form?
I think it's right about the same, as far as I know at this time.
So we're still looking for volunteers then to take up the slack of the 15 we still need.
Most definitely, yes, we are.
So correct me if I'm wrong. If you come out here and volunteer for this team and you volunteer for a specific date, you're locked in, right?
Well, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
I'm here 4 days a week, sometimes 3. I try to be here as much as I can, participate as much as I can.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. May have to pull those triggers for me someday. Thanks for your time, Mr. Woody.
Woody.
You have a good day. You ready?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's try and get up by the monument. Just go on it.
How you doing, folks? And I haven't left out here at the VA yet, and the reason for that is You've been following along here on the website about these gentlemen and these ladies that have joined the Honor Squad. And I found a few of them that I've been able to corral and ask them their feelings and thoughts about why they joined and how they heard about the Honor Squad and things of this nature. And I've got in front of me Mr. Jim Groves. He is a retired E6 from the Army Reserve. He served from 69 to 75. And I served from 72 to 75, Jim. So we were right there together. What did you do in the Army?
It wasn't very glorious. I was a spoon, a cook.
Oh, a cook. I have to ask you now, before I forget, my mind will walk out on me sometimes. Did you know a Spec 6 Tupelo when you were in the Army?
No.
Because he was in at the same time I was in, so your paths may have crossed. Now the reason I ask you that, and you'll get a kick out of this, up in the Putnam Library, they've got an Elvis Presley display up there. Have you ever been up there?
I have not.
When you walk by Elvis's uniform and stuff, they've got a little voice box built in there, and of course he speaks out to you and says a couple of things. But the reason I brought that up is in 74, or maybe 73, my whole division, 4th Infantry, was downrange on a field training exercise. And I got detailed to drive the mess hall truck down. I was supposed to graduate from Red Eye Gunnery School on that exercise. But the first sergeant called me in and said, "Maynard, I got a problem." Now, we all know when first sergeants do that, it ain't his problem no more, it's our problem.
Yeah, you just volunteered.
Yes. So, to make the long story short, he said to me, he said, "I'll send you TDY to Fort Hood, Texas to finish your red eye training." He said, "They're going to pay you 20 bucks a day extra TDY pay to go down there and do that." He says, "So that's a plus." He said, "But the biggest plus is you've already had all the training, so you'll just go down there and it'll be escape time for you." He says, "But I really need you to drive this mess hall truck down range. You're the only guy in the company that's got a deuce and a half driver's license." I said, "Okay, Sarge." Well, we got down range and we log her in for the first night, and I hear this harmonica off in the distance. So I track it down because I've always wanted to play the harmonica and the guitar. And I come upon Spec 6 Tupelo. He was the head cook. And I asked him about the harmonica and stuff, and he told me a little bit. Well, it turned out Spec 6 Tupelo taught Elvis Presley how to play the harmonica. Spec 6 Tupelo taught Private Maynard how to play the harmonica back in that day. So that's one of my claims to fame for that. And then asked me about how the immersion heater blew my eyelids off and all my hair off sometime. I know you can picture that one. But so you heard about this thing, you heard about the Honor Squad. How?
Actually, it was at the VFW post that I belonged to, 8312 in Beaver Creek.
Okay.
Several of the guys were talking about it and said, "You know, there is no Honor Squad." And so the meeting was right around the 3rd of May, I think, when we came out. And they said they bury 1,000 a year out here and only 10% get honors.
Yeah.
And that's if they belong to a VFW or American Legion post, and that post comes out to do the honors, then they get the honors. But other than that, nobody does. That's
Sad.
That's sad for a national cemetery. So I said to the boys, I said, "You know, I think maybe that's something I should try to do." So I said, "I'll go along with you and check it out." So we came out here. That's how we ended up here.
You come out to the first meeting and you just, yeah, that's pretty awesome. You know, it's, I can't say nothing else, it's just awesome, Jim. Thank you for your service that you did as a cook.
Well, thanks for your service.
Well, you're welcome. I was in tanks, I was in the armor division.
I knew you were in armor, so I assume you were in Fort Knox, as I was.
Well, I went through boot at Fort Knox, but I went through AIT at Fort Carson.
Okay.
So, and that's where I met Spec 6 Tubalo at Fort Carson. So.
See, I did my basic in Knox and my MOS in Knox. There was only 2 cook schools at that time, Dix and Knox.
Ah. You know what my favorite meal was?
SOS?
You hit it right on the head, buddy. SOS, that was, and Tubalo and his crew of guys made one hell of a bunch of SOS.
But I like the real deal. I don't care for the SOS made out of hamburger. I want real chip beef.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Tubalo, sometime he could get the chip beef, but
Yes.
most of the time it was out of the hamburger. But either or, I liked the SOS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it, and the coffee wasn't bad. I don't know if I was too impressed with it after I figured out how they made it. I'll do a quick story. You know how Tubalo made his coffee? 10-gallon pot on top of the stove, brought the water to a boil,
Threw the whole can of coffee in it.
and went until it boiled to the
When it
top.
boiled, you add a little cold water. It's called hobo coffee.
Yeah,
We used to
called
do it out
mud.
on the range.
Yeah, you remember calling it mud back in the day?
Well, when you throw the cold water in, the ground settles to the bottom.
Oh, I didn't know that, because
Yeah.
Tubalo scooped his off.
Well,
Yeah.
we put the cold water in, and it made it sink to the bottom, and that was hobo coffee.
Wow. See, I just learned something new.
Yeah.
Jim, thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna stay right here till the whole crew passes by. Cops and all. Hey! That must be Cindy.
That's more than 80 don't went past.
Huh?
That's more than 80 that went past.
Well, they must have got some more add-ons.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you get the band.
I will. They're coming up the road now.
Yeah, I'll see 'em.
How you doing, folks? This is Rex at the Buckeyenest again, and I'm back out here at the Dayton VA, and I got a gentleman in front of me. He's an honor squad member. His name's Jimmy Smith, and pretty neat guy as far as I'm concerned, especially to take his own time now and come out here and perform a service for veterans. So Jimmy, how did you hear about the honor squad team?
Well, the director of the National Cemetery, Mike Henshaw, came to our 3rd District, VFW 3rd District meeting, and he briefed that out of all of the veterans that were being buried here at the National Cemetery, less than 10% were receiving a rifle salute, and that's just totally unacceptable. that's the motivation for getting into the honor squad here. And so he wanted to start an honor squad that is a Dayton National Cemetery honor squad. And in doing so, all of us who came in on the initial stage of it and had the initial training were the charter members of this group. And there's only one other group like this group in the United States currently, in Minnesota. And
Minnesota, you say?
And we're patterning our group after that group. And there were approximately, he said, 1,100 burials a year into the Dayton National Cemetery.
Wow.
And less than 10% of those were getting the firing squad. Since we started, which was Memorial Day, May the 31st, they had the initial ceremony, and the day following was the first burial. And so far we're at 100%. Every veteran that has been buried here has received the rifle salute. And every veteran, I feel, deserves to have that. And families expect it. When families come to the burial service and all they have is the folding of the flag and taps, they feel like something is missing. And that something is the other part of the honor service, which is the rifle salute. And we're proud to be a part of this group. Out of my VFW post in Beaver Creek, there are 5 members of our post that came in as part of the charter group.
Very good. I'm a vet myself, Jim, and I want to salute you guys for what you're doing. If I had the time, I'd be here with you. But I think I'm doing a better job by doing this kind of stuff and getting the word out about you guys and what's going on.
Well, what they require of us is that we volunteer one day out of the week, and when we come in, however many burials are for that day, we stay for the entire day and we do the rifle salutes on all of those burials. And of course there are those that come in more than one day of the week. But I would encourage anybody that wants to get into this and participate in this worthwhile venture that they contact the Dayton National Cemetery office and volunteer to come in and help us, because we can always use more people. Sometimes we come up a little short because people have other things to do, but we go with what we have. We'll either do a 3, a 5, or a 7-man firing squad, depending on the number of people that we have available.
Yeah, because I know the original goal was to get a full 7-man team for every day of the week, a commitment for a 7-man team for every day of the week.
Yeah, so far we haven't been able to do that every day, every Monday through Friday, but we haven't missed doing one service.
Yeah, you just have to kind of scale back the number of people.
Well, you can fire with 3, 5, or 7. Are the legal
so if you had
squads.
If you had 3 members, you shot 7 times.
Well, no, we have 3. It's still 3 volleys. It's not a 20. That's a mistake most people make. It's not a 21 gun salute. It's a rifle salute with 3 volleys. Okay. Now, at one time it used to be 21, where you would have, and I believe dignitaries that are buried, it is still a full 21 shots that they make. But the regulation states a rifle salute of 3 volleys, and that's what we do, whether we've got 3 people, 5 people, or 7 people.
Did you, I had a side note here, folks, because Jimmy here belongs to the VFW, am I correct?
Yes.
And the VFW donated all the money for the 4 Freedom Equestrian teams, brand new corral up here on the hill. They said.
And we also are dressing up our uniforms a little better. We just authorized last night in our meeting to purchase the patches that we're going to be needing, the prisoner of war patches, POW patches, to go on the uniforms. And we're donating those as well. And also, as the chaplain for my post, I am also called upon here at the cemetery to do committal services when they do not have a minister or a chaplain available to them.
You know, you commented Memorial Day ceremony. Were you here for that day?
No, sir, I wasn't, because our post does 6 services on Memorial Day, and I'm on the honor guard. I am on the honor guard, and I'm the chaplain for the post, and our commitments have to come before the Dayton National Cemetery. But I can't be in 2 places at one time, though I'd like to have been here.
One of the gentlemen I interviewed on the team a few weeks ago, his name is Doug Blair. Do you know Doug?
Yes.
And what surprised me, I don't want to say it surprised me, it impressed me about him is are you aware he has no military background at all?
Well, we do have a few members that have 0 military background, but you don't have to have a military background to participate in this squad. Unlike the VFW, you do have to be or have military experience in order to be on their honor squad. We have, I think, right now, I believe there's 3 or 4 people on our honor squad that have no military experience. But they provide training.
Yeah.
They provide uniforms. They provide training, and it's a good group of people. We have a good time, and we feel good about being able to provide this service that has not been able to been given to vets before.
Yeah, I feel good about being able to support you guys in the fashion that I do. I've been up on the main campus many times and heard these rifles go off down here, and I know what they mean. And I often wonder if the people in the neighborhood around here knows what they mean, but we'll never know that answer, will we? But thank you for your service. Thank you for your time, and thanks for volunteering, because you may be pulling those triggers for me someday. So. Well, let's pray you outlive me. So, yeah. Oh, one more question. The last time I was out here, I think Ed told me that you guys had like 35 volunteers so far. Has that number changed to your knowledge?
It has. We've had a couple that have dropped out for various reasons. One of our members was a Vietnam vet, and he flew the observation aircraft, the little Cessna aircraft. Was shot down and crashed into the bottom of a mountain, and the engine pinned him into the cockpit and crushed both of his knees. And he although he wants to do this, he's found that he's just not physically able to, and has dropped out. And then there's been a few others that have dropped out because they haven't really had the time that they thought that they were going to have. And but no, we're a few less now. I don't think it's too many, more or less than 35. But you know, we welcome people into this group at any time, and the more the merrier, and the more we have, the less often, you know, some of us older guys are going to have to come out here.
Yeah. Because
it's kind of tough on us too, especially out in that hot sun. But they always do the military honors first, so we're kind of there at the beginning, and we get the job done, and then we're out while they finish up the service. So it's not like we're out in the weather for an extensive period of time.
thank you for your time, Jimmy. Folks, we're still out here at the Dayton VA. This is about the 4,576,227 interview I've done today. But I'm still happy about it all, because in front of me, I've got Dale Alt, and his last name is A-L-T. So most of you can understand how to pronounce it, because it's a unique last name. And Dale served in the United States Army as a metal worker from 1984 to 1988. He got out as an E5, a sergeant. And he's out here volunteering with the Honor Squad. So Dale, how did you hear about the Honor Squad at the Dayton VA?
I was home one morning, I think it was on a Saturday, and they were advertising, you know, that they're going to start this Honor Squad, and please show up at 10 o'clock here, or call this number to let us know if you can make it or not. I do coach track on the side as well, so we had a track meet that day and just couldn't make it. And a couple weeks later, I was talking to my wife. I said, I wonder if I can still maybe check that out. She said, well, you had this called a the veterans down here and see if they have numbers. So I did, and I talked to Michael Henshaw, and he said, yeah, why don't you come on down? And so I came down just to kind of get a feel what it's going to be like, and he said, just go into the men's restroom there and try on a shirt and pants and we'll get you fitted. So I really didn't even have the opportunity to say if I wanted to do it or not.
Yes or no, you just walked into it.
Right, because I kind of wanted to understand what it was about first, but then after hearing the story about all the veterans that have passed away and come out here to get buried and there's no family or there's no honors, it's the least you can do, I think, for our service members. And so that kind of got me going, and I still work full time, and I take a day of vacation or do this during our time off of work to help out as much as I can. But I think it's very important that our veterans get honored, at least when they pass on, because I don't think a lot of people understand what they really.
You're a good man. Perfect. Perfect.
I know I'm good. I know you, I'm good. Ain't that great shot?
Yeah.
This is Rex at the Buckeyenest, and I'm doing another impromptu movie. As most of you know, that's what I do. None of this is rehearsed. And I've got a gentleman in front of me by the name of Doug Blair. He's part of the honor squad out here at the Dayton National Cemetery. And he volunteers for this honor squad. And what they do is they make sure that certain enhancements are performed while a veteran's being interred here for their final resting place. So Doug, how did you hear about the honor squad and how did it come about for you?
Well, it was something my son-in-law told me about that was available out here, and I did not hesitate to decide to volunteer for this, and so here I am.
What branch of the service did you serve in?
I'm not a veteran. However, my father and my father-in-law were World War II vets, and I thought that in a very small way this is something that I can do to repay the veterans, to help them with their final respects, and again, to pay a very small price for the large price that they all pay.
That's very awesome, Doug. I was not prepared for that. I really wasn't. I have to tell you something. We're going to interact here in a minute. I worked for an organization called Veterans Outreach, part-time. And I sit in front of locations like Clayton Tractor Supply, Rural King over here in Xenia, different locations, Walmart. And it was very, very rare that I ran into and I'm classifying you as a civilian, that steps out of their way to help veterans. So I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you say to me that was your son a veteran?
No.
In the true sense of the word?
It was my son-in-law, and he's not a veteran either.
Does he work out here?
No, he's...
Well, how did he hear about it?
Something he found online, I believe. So
Okay.
it's something that I expect him to do this also, just he has not been able to come out and take upon the training at this time. But he let me know about it, and I'm very glad to be here.
Well, we're very glad to have you. Folks, this is Doug Blair, and you just heard him say he is not a veteran in the truest sense of the word, but let me tell you what the truest sense of the word in a veteran is. In my mind's eye, a veteran is an individual that at some time or another did something or gave some of their time to help out our country. There's an organization called the civilian branch of the military. And Doug's part of it. You're part of it. Anybody watching this movie is part of it, because I have to tell you something. When we took an oath as soldiers and Marines and Navy and Air Force and things of that nature, we pledged to uphold country, God, and make freedom available to you folks. But we can't do that if you're not out there doing what you do. You understand what I'm saying, Doug?
Absolutely.
So, in my mind's eye, Doug and everybody that's watching this movie is a veteran of the civilian branch of the military. And that's right here. And thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
Welcome home, brother. All right, all right.
Welcome home, brother.
Welcome home. 4th Infantry. Hey, there you go.
Was
Did you play coup?
No, I didn't put boots on the ground.
Oh, you did?
I served from 72 to 75.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations. Is your Fort Carson?
From
Yep,
72
Fort Carson.
to 80.
72 to 80?
Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Is that right? Yeah. How's everybody
We're
now?
in tanks. 1-5.
Oh, yeah. Is that right?
First Marine Train.
First Marine? You was a Marine? Hoorah.
I'm still a Marine.
He's still a Marine. Yeah, once a Marine, always a goddamn Marine.
I was tanks.
You was tanks?
4th Infantry.
I was
battalion tank.
engineers, combat engineers. We built
My brother
bridges
was combat engineer.
and roads
I
and
started
got
out.
shot at.
I started out as a tunnel rat and worked my way up.
There ain't no way I'd have called any fucking tolls. They'd had a court martial my
You
ass.
gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Oh, God. Take it easy, huh? Yeah.
All right.
Get a picture of this.
Where's my truck?
Folks, this is Rex at the Buckeyenest, and we're still out here at the Dayton National Cemetery today. I've got a pretty neat guy in front of me. His name's Pat McCoy. He served in the United States Army. He was a military policeman and a recruiter. And he served from 1983 to 1991. And he's part of this honor guard out here that I've been telling you about. And he's out here paying tribute and doing a more enhanced version of what these veterans really deserve when they're interred here for their final resting place. So given all that information, Pat, how did you hear about the Honor Squad being formed out here?
I received a telephone call from Judge Adkins, who helped form the Honor Squad, and he extended an invitation to me to become a part of it, and I felt rather honored to be invited, and I wasn't going to turn it down. So I came out to the first meeting that they had, and here we are.
Here you are. All right. Well, I was mentioning to you outside, I'm going to do what I can to help you guys get some nicety stuff like soda pop and water. I've got some connections with some local businesses here in town. And I don't know if Ed Lucas told you or not, but I gave you guys that table there and that cloth cover over there. And I'm working on trying to get you a big screen TV so you got something to look at other than each other's
We're still
mugs.
kind of limited in space in here.
Yeah, well, we could probably mount it up there on that wall though, or maybe over here. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to do. I
Appreciate it.
I'm a veteran myself, and this is my way of saying thanks to you guys for doing what you're doing out here. Because if I had the time, I would be right here with you. But I don't have the time. So the best thing I can do is help support you guys from outside the circle, so to speak. So,
Right.
given all that thought process, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And you have a good day.
Yeah, I go down that thing is going to make it big.
How you doing, folks? This is Rex at the Buckeyenest again, and I just realized something. All these poor guys, I'm out here trying to make them look good, and they're all sitting there in front of that white wall like they're in a, what would we call this, a mud photo?
Yeah, prison.
But it's not. It's not. These guys are all pretty important to me as an individual, because you've heard me already say I'm a veteran. And I found out about this program out here called the Honor Squad. And these gentlemen that I'm doing these little short talks with, they're all volunteers to that Honor Squad. Most all of them are veterans, but I did find out there's 2 or 3 of them that are not veterans, which really surprised me and impresses me to no end. So, given all that thought process, I'm going to let Tim Spradlin tell you about how he heard about the Honor Squad, what prompted him to join, and we'll even let him put a little piece about his Finally Home Farm, which is a program that helps veterans with PTSD. So Tim?
Oh, thank you. I heard about the program from the Patriot Guard. My wife and I are members of the Ohio Patriot Guard, have been since I came home from Iraq in 2008. And we were out here for a funeral when one of the ride captains who knows Judge Adkins told me about it. And as he said, it'd be perfect for me since I'm retired from my civilian career also, that I served with the Honor Guard when I was in the Air Force Reserve. And so for me, since I retired from the Reserve and having been a first sergeant taking care of the troops, I really missed that. I got old, my knees went bad, I couldn't stay in the military. So I've been pretty blessed to find ways to serve. I got appointed to the Veteran Service Commission in Greene County. It was at a program in Columbus that I first saw a speaker talk about alternative therapies involving animals, and that led us to use our hobby of, we have trail horses, got certified, and just at the first of the year we kicked off our equine assisted psychotherapy program, which we call Finally Home Farm. We're a 501c3. So between helping veterans with that, which we do all volunteer through grants and donations, and riding with the Patriot Guard and now serving here, is just a blessing to keep staying connected to the military and do something, especially Vietnam veterans. I was a little too young for Vietnam. I got activated for Desert Storm and then did 2 tours of active duty for Iraqi freedom also. And it was Vietnam veterans who stood up and said loud and clear that we're not going to treat this generation of veterans like we were treated. And thanks to them, we've had great support. So any way I can give back, so it's been a blessing also. I'm also a certified chaplain through my church. So I've helped Director Henshaw and Judge Adkins with the committal services, and so far I've been truly blessed to serve as the chaplain and officiate at 3 funerals here also. So it's another thing we do as part of the Honor Squad, is provide that service if the family doesn't have any clergy. And so we're, again, just proud to serve, and as long as I'm healthy, I'll keep doing what I can to help veterans.
Well, thank you for your service. And I'm going to tell you a quick short story about Vietnam. I worked for an organization called Veterans Outreach, part-time. And we were the guys that you would see in front of the Tractor Supply stores or the Rural Kings or the Walmarts with the tables set up and the donation jars. I was over at the Tractor Supply store, and I'm telling this to all you guys out there on the internet too. And I've said it before, but you're going to hear it again. This lady came up to me and she had crocodile tears coming out of her eyes. And she put money in the jar. And she looked at me and she said, "I'm sorry for what I said and did against you guys back in the day." And I looked at her and I said, "What do you mean, ma'am?" And she said, "I was a child back in that day." Now, do you know what a child was back in that day? You remember the term flower child?
Oh yeah.
She was a flower child. She was a hippie. She belonged to that group of people that was calling all of us baby killers and throwing things at us when we come off the airplanes and that kind of stuff. And when she walked away from me, she said, "I'm very, very sorry." And believe it or not, guys, she was still crying like a crocodile when she walked away from me. So take that for what it's worth. You guys don't know me, you don't know me, Tim, but that is coming from my heart, and that's coming from a real life incident that occurred at the Tractor Supply in Clayton, Ohio.
Well, and actually now I know why you look familiar. because I shop at Tractor Supply for my horse supplies, and I'm pretty sure we've seen you there and talked to you and donated to you, and I'm thinking, where do I know this guy from? So it's from your other team. Thank you for your service and all you're doing.
For you managers up in Tractor Supply, Mr. Dean and Shelley and things of that nature. I'll be coming by this week to get some water and soda pop for these guys, and you got evidence right here. He even shops at your store, and we didn't know that. So.
Yeah, just bring her something. I gotta get my hat. Okay. Well, my bike last time I didn't even sleep outside the city. Really, shooting the wrong way on 35. Down in there.
Ugly Mr. T, something like that. Ooh. There you go. Keep that hat on, Steve.
Say hi to Dayton, folks.
Hi, Dayton.
Thanks for making the ride today.
Thank you.
Hey, Darrell.
Yeah.
Huh? I'm going over here.
Oh.
Yeah, you are.
Say hi to Dayton.
Hi, Dayton. Are
Thank-
you with the news?
I'm with DATV, and I also do a lot of work out here, nonprofit stuff. Got my own company. There's business cards inside on the table,
Okay.
and you'll be able to go see where the video's being published at and where you can watch it.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm going to follow you guys all the way over to Kettering
Okay.
and do the party over there.
So is this going to be televised?
Yeah, next month it'll be on DATV.
Oh, okay. I'll try to remember that.
Well, if you stop in there and get one of my cards and give me your email address, I'll email you letting you know when it's going to be shown and the times and
Well, I
dates.
can write that down. Hold on.
Well, I got stuff in there on the table. If you just go inside the front door.
I got paper and pen on the file.
Okay, okay.
So I'll write it down. You just want my email address? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and your phone number as long as your husband isn't bigger than me. Okay, I'm kidding. Hi. Huh? I'm done with you. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Well, I'm out of here. Time
All right.
to head back to the house.
Be safe. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, spend some time with my brother before I have to take
Everybody, I want to tell you something about this gentleman standing here in front of me. This is Ed Lucas. He is a former commander of the Honor Squad, and he still does duty out here at the VA campus in different functions, different volunteer functions. Next time you see him, tell him thank you for your service. All right, brother, be good. Here's my card.
See if you can read that.
Okay.
My writing isn't the best. It's fcrabtree@woh.rr.com.
Maybe this will work better. Let me give you my card.
Okay.
You send me an email
To this.
to this address,
Okay.
and then I can copy and paste it.
There you go.
Remind
taking
me,
movies for the
well, I
VA?
got you.
Okay.
Are you taking movies for the VA?
He
I'm
is.
taking movies for the.
Then he's going to email me a
Yeah.
Okay, you
A
can let
copy.
us know.
Yeah. If you
Well,
go,
I thought
if
maybe.
you go inside the door of the library there, I got a table set up there with business cards and a place where you can give me your email address.
Okay. What you
And
doing
then I'll
over
let you
there?
know when this is going to show on TV. It'll show next month.
Okay.
Do I ever not?
Do you ever? You should have left it at that. Yeah, some way I can print it out on, on a CD or something. I can take it out to the clubhouse for everybody
Well,
to see.
let me tell you what I do.
Okay.
I'll burn you a DVD. I'll put a special label on it. Give me an email. When you email me, I'll get you your address from it. If you're still interested in one. I'll put a special label on it.
Okay, so where do your address on here?
Yeah. No, I'll give you my address when we hook up for the switch.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did too on mine.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yep.
I blew a fuse coming up through here a while ago.
That's not a good thing.
I tooted the horn at some people were waving, and a little while later I went to toot the horn again. I thought, and I looked down, I thought, ooh, I ain't got no turn signal light on my dash here, and I thought, uh-oh, I blew a fuse.
Everybody rides.
Red's my favorite color.
Mine too.
Yeah. You got an awesome job on the fairing here.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
I retired in 2012, and I always fascinated about them guys with their pinstriping and airbrushing. I thought, I'm gonna see if I can learn how to do that. So I've been kind of teaching myself, talking to some pros.
Yeah.
On a YouTube site, and then I talked to a couple of them via Facebook and email, and then I met a lady that does a lot of pinstriping and airbrushing, and she kind of helped point out some pointers on that where I could have made it a little bit better, she said, as far as popping.
You did a fine job. I have never seen that in my entire life. I used to ride too.
She told me, like, where I have a kind of a dark gray shadow, she said if I would have darkened it from about right here all the way around,
You would have accented that.
it would have made it like it was up higher.
Yeah.
Little things like that, and
Yeah.
and she said, "Oh, I like how you put some like stitches in it,
Yeah.
instead of just plain lines." Now,
And you did this yourself?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
and I put this one on there for my oldest grandson when he was in Iraq on the second tour. His best friend was killed over there, so I put that in his memory on that for him.
Wow. Now, you know, if you decide you want to go and do this for other veterans,
Yeah.
I can help you get exposure. I
Yeah.
send out 8,000 emails a week to veterans.
There's a fella I met, I don't know if you can see it on my phone or not, I met back in July. He was works for Yamaha, and he had their semi at our summer get-together down in Sharonville last month.
Yeah.
And his boy joined the Navy and is going to become a deep-sea diver. And he wanted to know, I painted up some logos, and he's seen the one I had as a Navy logo. It was just an anchor. And so I painted him up. I got a, I don't know if you can see it very good or not.
No, I can't see it because it's my eyes. Oh, I see it now. Oh, that's awesome.
That's
real awesome.
That's the new style helmet.
I know a guy here in Dayton that does professional auto detailing. He's done several major cars for drivers and stuff.
Yeah, I've just been kind of piddling with it since, let's see, I retired in December of 2012, and not long after that I started buying me some paint and some cheap airbrush guns, and then I went and bought me a couple better guns, and
some more paint, and I've
Well,
been
you
trying
got
different
a
things.
you got a business card?
No, I don't. No, I've been just doing it for the pleasure of doing it.
Well, no, this is
and
important.
giving it to friends and family.
Okay. If you decide you want to go professional with it,
Yeah.
even if you don't decide, inside the library doors there, I got a table set up.
In
I got
this
a business,
building right here?
yeah, in this
Okay.
pink building.
Okay.
And grab a business card.
Okay.
Give me your email and your phone number and your name on that booklet there.
Okay.
And then I'll get with you in the future and we
Okay.
can talk about this.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of work for nonprofits and veterans and stuff.
Yeah, I even got me some one-shot paint and tried to, that's one-shot, like the striping paint.
Yeah.
Do pinstriping. Then I painted my cartoon idol, Yosemite Sam, on my back fenders.
Oh, I got to go get that.
He's straddling the tail lights.
Oh, I see him now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always ride with Yosemite. I got Yosemite doll there behind my passenger seat, and then I painted them on the fenders.
That's my man. I have to tell you a true story, and you'll get the biggest laugh out of this you'll ever had in your life. I was in tanks back in my day.
Yeah.
Okay. We were booking in back to the rear because we'd been out training. We were the aggressors on the detail.
Yeah.
So we come charging into the rear. It was a Friday afternoon. We wanted to get back to base, get everything shut down and cleaned up and go to town. Well, it was getting dark. And for some reason, they put us on blackout drives. Were you Navy or Army?
Navy.
Well, blackout drives, I don't know if you know what they are, but they're very little, short, small light.
Right.
Bright red.
Right.
So we're on blackout drives. We're running back into rear. We're doing about 40 to 50 mile an hour. And I decided I want a cigarette. So I dropped down to light a cigarette. And I popped back up. I wasn't down but a couple seconds at the most. And I knew there was supposed to be a tank in front of me. I come back up. I didn't see no tank. Didn't see the blackout drives. Didn't see any silhouettes of tanks moving. Next thing I see the biggest fucking rock I have ever seen in my entire life, and I'm barreling down on this thing at 45 miles an hour. Main gun's pointed towards the front, so that's the first thing that's going to smack into this rock, because they had all took a sharp turn to miss this boulder. So I grabbed my headset and I'm screaming in the headset, "The gun tube, the gun tube!" The tank commander wakes up and he whips the turret to the left. I'm whipping the tank to the left. We're throwing rocks and everything all over the place. That gun tube smacks into that boulder and ricochets off. And I just barely missed it with the fenders and stuff. What do you think the first thing I saw in my mind? First thing I saw in my mind was a flashback to Yosemite Sam and a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Okay.
And Yosemite Sam had his shotgun and Bugs shoved his finger down the end of it and pulled that trigger, and that shotgun went off and splayed in all different directions. And I'm thinking of that main gun like that. What do you think the next thing is? I'm sitting in front of a pile of potatoes at the mess hall, so high I can't even fucking see them, and I'm peeling potatoes the rest of my life to pay for that gun.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah. He was always a character, but he'd tell his horse to whoa and it wouldn't whoa, and he'd get out and smack it, and then he'd say giddy up and it wouldn't giddy up, and I'd sit there and laugh and
damn it, I'm well, guys, I better move on down the road here. Make sure you guys stop in and get my business card and give me your email address so I can email you and let you know when this movie's going to play.
I done this fella's bike for him too.
Did you?
He's my best friend.
This is going to go up on DATV next month, the local public access.
Oh yeah?
Besides that, I'm the only gullible one that let him paint my bike.
Yeah? Well, I'd let him paint mine if I was still riding, but unfortunately I laid mine down in '94 real super hard, and it was so hard I ripped the left handle grip right off the handlebars. And I haven't been able to get back on one since. Every time I do, all I can see is, and I'm not kidding you, all I can see is my left hand coming off that handlebar with that handle grip in my hand.
That's why I put these training wheels on this, so I could still ride. my left hip and back, it'd get too much for me to try to keep it upright, especially if I get the other half on the back, gets top heavy. And
Yeah. Well, I never thought of that. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll look around for one.
that way I can still get out and have fun.
Yeah, because believe it or not, and I won't get into this story for it's too long, but one of my officers showed up one day and she said, "Hey Rex, check out this new bike I got." And I went out and looked at it. It was the bike that I dumped on the freeway. And it took some serious damage, so it freaked me out to see her riding it, because I gave it to the tow truck company for the towing fee, because I knew it was wasted beyond repair. And here she is riding it. So yeah, it was a Honda Goldwing 78 full dress. Yeah, I miss those days. I used to ride with a club every Tuesday in Elsinore, California. And we'd get up and have our club meeting, and then we'd all break off in different directions and take a ride. Some of us up in the mountains, some of us down around the lake, and all that kind of stuff. Nice place to ride. You know, let me move on down the road here.
Good dog to you.
Did you do these bikes and cars over here too?
No.
Did you do these?
Oh, no. Nope.